Moulin Rouge, the musical, celebrated its 3-year anniversary on Broadway just a couple of months back. The cast, led by Loren. She plays Satine. Here's Paul Wontorek.
Thanks, Tamsin. Longtime Satine standby Loren has stepped center stage in the Tony-winning hit musical. I sat down with Broadway's Sparkling Diamond at the Civilian Hotel to hear all about her incredible journey to the trapeze swing. You're Satine in Moulin Rouge.
I am.
Iconic. I mean, that's an iconic role from the movie,
Truly.
and now it's become Broadway legend.
What an honor. What an honor. My journey with Moulin Rouge has been interesting because my journey with Broadway is Moulin Rouge, but I also played Satine in a show in Vegas.
I know this. We
so
have to
my
talk
journey,
about it.
yeah, my journey with Satine has been incredible and ever evolving, and I'm still learning so much, and it's really a beautiful. I'm just so grateful to be able to do this on the greatest stage in the world.
Let's talk about that. Before Moulin Rouge became a Broadway reality, you were doing a show in Vegas that was sort of a tribute to Baz Luhrmann films, which are obviously so soundtrack heavy.
Yes.
All his films.
Yes.
So talk about that.
Yes. I'm from New Jersey, and I moved to LA because I was touring with Carly Rae Jepsen at the time, and so I was living my best life in LA. Call me maybe. Maybe. I actually went on a trip to Vegas, and I've always loved Moulin Rouge. Has always been one of my favorites. So when I went with some friends and I saw that they were doing this show called Baz Star-Crossed Love, which was essentially Moulin Rouge, The Great Gatsby, and Romeo and Juliet told as, you know, like a great epic love story of vignettes using the songs from Baz Luhrmann's movies. And I was like, well, that I need to see. Yeah, so I saw this beautiful show and I was like, oh, I would love to be in that one day. Auditions came around shortly after that. Carly wasn't on tour at the point in time, and I was like, well, I don't mind. Let me audition for this. I love Satine. I would love to be Satine. So that was my first sort of dipping my toes into the world
and the songs, and a lot of the songs that you're now singing on Broadway.
A lot of the songs, yes. It's been a journey with Satine, and I fall more in love with her every day.
What do you love about Satine? And Satine on stage is different than Satine in the movie, I would say.
I think so too, but I also think that the beauty of my journey with her is just figuring out, you know, how art imitates life and the humanity within her in all of those tales. Because, you know, in Vegas we told a version of her story. In the movie, Baz told a version of her story, and it's beautiful because every time someone comes into the show to breathe life into Satine, they tell a version of their story of her. But I'm really enjoying finding new things about her every day, her authenticity, how much of that she has been allowed to be, or how much she's been able to explore, and the versions of that, and her journey with love. Just all of those things that, you know, I think we all have thought about a lot in post-pandemic world. So it's really beautiful, and I'm so enjoying every day. I'm so grateful to be able to do it.
I've been talking a lot to Broadway standbys and understudies and swings.
Yes.
And what's it been like being in that role? You know, it's always been a part of the Broadway industry, but suddenly there's more of an understanding about the bigger picture of how you put a show on.
And I think it's so important, and it's about time. I mean, Broadway is a team sport. You can't do any of this without everyone. What keeps a show alive is the ones that step up to the plate, sometimes last minute. I mean, I remember I've been on mid-show before, you know, and that's something that is nonstop, happening almost every day. You know what I mean? Between swings and under. I was lucky enough I covered one role. It's a pretty substantial role, but you know, we have swings who cover 10 roles, and we have swings who have done split tracks, cut tracks, multiple tracks every day, just to like you're trying to figure it out in real time. Dance captains that put together the mathematics of that are otherworldly. It's just such a skill set and such a talent that Broadway would not exist without the offstage coverage. It just wouldn't, and it certainly wouldn't be sustainable. It never was, and certainly now. I'm so happy that attention is finally being brought to these incredible aliens that have come to rescue Broadway, because that's what they are. They are heroes.
So is it safe to assume that young Ashley in New Jersey had more of the pop dreams than the Broadway dreams?
Young Ashley had a little bit of everything. I was a sick child. I have Lyme disease, and I was diagnosed when I was a kid. So theater was actually my first. I always loved to sing. Singing was my world. Theater was my first sort of escape, and I learned pretty early on that it was an escape for audience members and for the person on stage sometimes, and the give and take of that, and you know how reciprocal that is, and how that is so healing, and that if you're an artist, you're also a healer. So because of that, I started in theater as a kid, and my reasoning was because it was like I was able to be someone that wasn't me for a while, just like a little break. And then I started writing songs because another outlet, you know,
Sure.
and I started doing, you know, segueing into the pop world when I was in middle school. I ended up getting signed right after high school. I was signed to Def Jam under Universal Music Group, and I was working on my album, and just things happen as they do, life happens, and an opportunity came for me to do some demo vocals for Frank Wildhorn and these new musicals that he was writing, and which is so full circle for me because my Broadway debut was in Jekyll and Hyde, the revival.
Yeah.
And Jekyll and Hyde was the first show that I saw as a kid that I was like, oh,
Wow.
that's the kind of thing I want to sing. Yeah, so I think it all started out in theater and storytelling and healing and art and escapism, and then now it's just sort of mutated into all of these other things.